I passed the JLPT N1 with 116 out of 180. In this video, I'll go over some questions from the test, point out some things that I thought were easy, point out some things that I thought were hard, as well as give more thoughts on my score and the JLPT test and testing overall. Hey guys, I'm Hypothetical Tiger or Aaron, however you know me, and I've been studying Japanese through immersion since mid-2020. I moved to Japan in early 2024, and I make videos here on my YouTube channel, go over my life in Japan, experience learning Japanese, and all of that fun stuff. Before we continue, I want you all to follow me on my social medias. They're all in the description. Like the video, comment on the video, subscribe. Join as a member if you want to support me. That's all up to you. And I just want to give a thank you to TJ Cooperation for the comment on my original JLPT video, linked in the description and the pinned comment, telling me to go over like the answers with the elite test and then talk a little bit more about it. So thank you so much, TJ Corporation. I appreciate it. You gave me a good video idea. You're awesome. So yeah, this is going to be a quick video. We're just going to kind of go off of the dome. Not really much written down notes-wise or script-wise. Well, never a script, but not really much written down note-wise. So I hope you guys enjoy it. So without further ado, let's continue. All right, first section is the vocab and the grammar section, which I got a 44 out of 60 on. Honestly, I thought this was not too hard overall. The thing that gave me the most trouble was definitely the star bullshit for the grammar section. I hated that. That definitely didn't go well. But other than that, I thought it went kind of easy. So, let's take a look at some of those questions, huh? All right, here we are with some of the questions. This is like from a Chinese site thing. I don't know, man. All of these, so like ganjo, hisonderu, gyosei, takuetsu, kanbashikunai, kankatsu. These to me were all pretty easy, and I don't think I got a single one of these wrong. I'd be very surprised if I got any of these wrong because I know all these words. In terms of words that could show up on the N1, I think these are probably some of the easier words, so I thought it was really easy and I lucked out there. Where we get a little bit tipsy-turvy, and you can see why I probably lost some points, I guess. The first one, I believe I got that one right. The second one, I don't have the whole sentence here, but if you remember, it was about like soccer and like having a lead by 1 point. I remember in the test being stuck for some reason between rido and like prasu. And I don't know why I was stuck between those two. And I don't remember honestly which one I picked. But as we go on, you'll see that a lot where I'll talk about it and I'll go, I was stuck between two for no reason. Like, if you told me the answer was rido and I read the sentence, I think I would be like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense. So it's not necessarily that like I don't know these things. It's just like in the test, I might have screwed up. Let's see. Gokaku, I got that one. Wariyatearu. Atearu? Wariyaterus? Isn't this supposed to be wariyateru? I don't know. But I got that one right. I know that. Shuto no junbi. I got that one right. Hitomazu no kyukei. I got that one all right. Kibun ga mushakusha. This one I think I got wrong because I completely forgot the meaning for mushakusha. Yeah, so I completely forgot the meaning for mushakusha. So this one I probably got wrong. I can't remember what I put, but thinking about it, most likely not a correct answer. Ogesa, yep, I got that one. Hisoka ni is kossori, got that. Shiren and Kunan. This one I should have got. Yeah, so we have this one. Oku no shiren ga atta. And it's Kunan. This is also one that I'm pretty sure I put Kunan at the end, but for some reason I like this and one other answer. I was just stuck between that, and I don't know. There were definitely moments like that. Same with number 17, Urotaeru. I completely forgot what the meaning was, and I was awateru. I was freaking out. I didn't even put awateru at first, and I actually forgot. I was like, dude, I don't know what the hell to put for this answer, and it really pissed me off. And then when I came back to go over it, it like clicked, and I was like, oh, it's a wateru. Like, I'm fine. Tomen is shibaraku. I believe I got this one right. 19 jimai jibun de kao. Honestly, I think I got this wrong. I think I got this wrong. And that's embarrassing, I guess, because it's an easy word, and I do know it. Like, I am aware. This was another one where probably got it wrong, but it's not something I don't know, you know? I believe I got this one right. Some of these, this is where we get to the ones where I'm not 100% sure and I don't actually remember too much. Kyuchi no Kensa. I got this one wrong. I already know I got this one wrong. I just blanked, and even now, I don't even think I know that well enough. So yeah, 声がさすれる. I got this one wrong. Unless this question is... Oh! See, okay, it freaked me out. Yeah, koi ga kasureru. I was like, what? I was like, this is definitely the correct answer, I thought. I was starting to freak out. 23. Yeah, so I definitely got this one wrong because I don't even know this word. I don't know this word now. I asked someone after the test and he told me and I don't remember. So, yeah, I got that one wrong. I got this one correct, I know. This one I believe I got right, but not because I knew the answer. I just kind of guessed because I was blanking on the meaning of memagurushi the whole time. Every time I saw that question, it was not going well for me. So this is the final section of the grammar. I believe that the grammar point here was a wariso ni nai. I think I got this one wrong. I believe I got this one right as well, but this is also one that I might have gotten wrong. Nakushite wa. Reading it, I know the meaning now, obviously. During the test, I believe I might have gotten this mixed up with another one. Can't completely remember that one, to be honest. I think it was noru gurai nara. Noru kurai nara. I believe that was the grammar point they were testing, and I believe I got that one correct. I don't remember what grammar point it was testing on this, so we're just gonna skip that. Nayamasare nagara. This was the grammar point in this one, and I believe I got this one right. I believe I got this one right as well. The grammar point was nikoshita koto wa nai. I believe I got this one right as well. Shite nakereba. This one, I believe, was the grammar point. I got that right. This one I also got right. The grammar point was shitekureta mono da. You see this in books all the time, and not just books, like manga and stuff. This one, shigoto mitai na tokoro ga aru node. Shigoto mitai na tokoro. This was the part they were testing on, and they put different words in here. And I'm gonna be real with you guys. Reading it, obviously, understandable. I think I might have accidentally put rashi in there, rashi tokoro, instead of mitai na tokoro, which, if I saw the two sentences line up together, I can see how they're different, but that's one of those things where I'm not fully acquired on that, I guess, and I don't fully know the nuance internally, so that's fine, obviously, something to work on, but I believe I got this one wrong. If not, I got lucky and I put this one. It was a mix between mitai na tokoro and dashi tokoro, so I'm not 100% sure how that one went. Yorokonde bakari mo irarenai. This was the grammar point, bakari mo irarenai. I believe I got that one correct, so. Yay. Okay, the next one is the terrible grammar section with the stars. This one I got wrong. Nishiyama-san mo Nishiyama-san nara kacho mo kacho da yo. That one, reading it, I understand the meaning. And after I saw the explanation on Reddit, I believe, I was like, damn, okay, I know that. I've heard that phrase before. I've definitely heard this and seen this usage. However, during the test, all it was Mo, Nishiyama-san, Nara, and Kacho. And they're like, all right, put it in the correct order. So all I had in the sentence was Nishiyama-san, Mo Kacho da yo. And I was like, what? I was losing it. I could not get this one. This one was this is one where I believe if you did a lot of practice problems, this one definitely comes up, I assume. And once you see it, it's instant and you remember the mo nara, and then the mo at the end. But me, I was like, shit, dog, I have no idea. This one, we're just gonna guess. I don't even remember what I put, but I know it wasn't correct. That's for sure. I believe I got this one correct. This one, I might have screwed up the order, to be honest, but I think I got that one right. I might have gotten this one wrong, actually. My head wanted to form the sentence that was made because I remember my answer being confident in I knew what it was going for. I don't know if I got the correct order. I might have got this one wrong, actually. With all of them, a lot of them, obviously. I don't remember everything. This one, I got correct 100%. Obviously, all these are intuition, but this one's super intuition. There is no place that Noka can go after except for this part, so That one I thought was easy. I also got this one right. I believe this one. So yeah, the star section, I might have gotten 3 out of the 5 wrong. I might have gotten 3 out of the 5 right. I'm not 100% sure. But definitely these final 2, I know that I got correct. Before I move on, don't forget that you can actually check out my full JLPT story in the big video that I released the other day. It basically talks about how I studied for the test, not much, my actual experience during the test, before the test, after the test. So go and check out that other video over there. It has my real score reaction as well from the second I clicked the results. You get to watch with me and learn when I got my score, as well as initial reactions to it. Link is down below in the description and in the comments. Next, we're going to go to the reading section where I got a 28 out of 60 on. This is the worst section that I had on the test, and it's probably the section that is going to haunt me in my nightmares for the rest of my life. Similar to the first section, I'm not going to remember much. I'm probably going to remember even less of the reading section. And just looking it over before actually starting to record the video, I did notice a good amount of questions where I'm like, I think I answered something different than that. So I can completely understand where a lot of my points got taken off, and it's interesting to see that, definitely. I believe I got this one correct. I believe I got this one correct as well. I don't remember this one with Dio Sureba. I probably got this one wrong, honestly. I would have to look at the question because I do not remember. But this is not sticking out of my head at all. So I either got it wrong or I got it right and I just cannot remember. Honestly, I do not remember. I'm sorry, but I think a lot of the reading is going to be I do not remember. I should have recorded this as soon as the leaks came out, but I didn't even think to do this until I saw that comment on the other video, so I'm sorry. Oh, this one I remember being hard. I can't remember exactly what the passage was all about, but I do remember that I was having an issue trying to figure out which answer to put for this. So I either got this right or I got it wrong. Obviously, those are the 2 chances, I guess. I'm an idiot. This one I do remember being like, I do not know what the answer is. So I wish I could see my answers and see if I got this one right, because I remember this one specifically. I believe I got this one correct. That wasn't too hard, I believe. This is a good question, if I remember it or not. I believe that I got this one correct. All I remember was that the passage I thought was relatively easy, and the question associated with it was not very hard. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that I got this one correct. I do not remember. I apologize, but I do not remember this one. This one I believe I got right. I do remember this passage and like eating with people and the importance of, you know, how that like shapes society and stuff and doing the shit together. I do remember that. This one I got wrong. Actually, nope. Actually, I just read this in the next one. I believe I got this one wrong as well. These were both talking about like your ability to contribute and like in terms of finding jobs and making that decision and like picking the job that's correct for you, etc., and how to go about it. This one I do not recognize, and I believe I definitely got that one wrong. This one I semi-recognize, but I'm not sure if I got this one correct or if there was just another one that also mentioned jibun no tokusei o ikaseru shigoto. But I said earlier that I think I got this one wrong. I might have gotten this one right unless there is another similar answer that was pretty similar. If that's the case, I might have clicked. I might have chose that one, but otherwise I think I got that one right. This one I do not remember. It involved like cleaner shrimp and fish coming along to get cleaned, etc., and stuff about that. I do not necessarily remember this first question, but the next one with like the shrimp and shaking their like, what is this, tentacle type things. I believe I got this question right. I remember putting this one down specifically. I believe I got this one correct as well. I cannot remember the passage, but I believe I got this question. Oh, this was about the importance of journaling. So this was like talking about like the importance of looking objectively at yourself, and you get to see that in your diary. This one is interesting. I do remember this answer. I do not remember if I picked this answer because this was also one where I was going between multiple answers. A lot of these reading questions were me going through and being like, "Oh, is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure." Without like picking one of the two. So I think that's actually the biggest reason why I lost a lot of points on the reading section. Not necessarily because I couldn't understand the words that were on the page. It was just trying to find the answer that lined up to how I thought things were going, like in terms of, like author's intent and stuff like that. I get really tripped up and I get stuck between answers, and then overthink, and then I end up picking random out of those two kind of most times. So it's not necessarily like I don't know what I'm doing. It's just like, man, I overthink and I get stuck. So that has been a problem with me on tests forever. I get decent grades and I normally pass tests, and I did in school, but there was always the overthinking side of it. And I believe I will go into the overthinking side a little bit later on in this video, but that's definitely there. And it has not changed, obviously. I'm going to be real with you guys. I don't remember a single one of these three. So we're just going to skip those. I do not remember those. I do not remember what I put for 60 because this was like comparing what passage A thought and what passage B thought. I do not remember my answer, but for 61, I do remember that the passages were basically about how to schedule your life and people being too optimized and trying to optimize everything. And the answer was like, what is both passages, what do they like think you should do? And the central idea was basically what you should do in your life is up to you, like Jibun Shidai. So you choose your path. You don't have to worry about other people, what they're doing, or the intensity. The final one was about advertisements. Oh, actually, this isn't the final one. This is the final one. But this was about like advertisements. And I remember reading through the passage like once or twice. And I just kind of sat there and I was like, I get they're talking about advertisements, and I kind of could get the overall like what they were talking about, but the minute details were not clicking. I was just having like a lot of trouble. And I think it's just because I'm not used to reading those types of things most likely, so it was just like new to me, and if I had some practice it'd go better. But I definitely remember like even looking at the first question here, like I think I answered this, but it was after a lot of deliberation and a lot of like not necessarily panic, but a lot of oh my god, dude, like I can't get this. I can't get this. What the hell am I reading? Like I can't it's not clicking 100%, and I felt like it should. So that was a little disappointing, but what are you going to do? It happens. I believe I answered one similar to this. Hitsuyo dato kanjirare nikui. This part, I believe, was in my answer. So I either answered this correctly, or I picked one that also contained this. This is this final question, I believe I got this one correct. Actually, I think I did decent on this reading passage, but I think I'd say out of all of them, it was probably my worst one that I felt like I didn't feel very confident on it. So that's very interesting. This final one was basically talking about that in advertisements, you should show what value the product has to like your everyday life to the user so that they don't forget about it and it's always useful. So they'll always come back to it. And the final one was like a dry cleaning service, I believe, like an ad flyer, and you just had to like answer some questions. So it was like, if you buy this package, what's your discount if you're also a Kain, and how much would the shipping be? I got this one right. I got both these right. I know I did. It was very simple, not very hard when it's just reading a sign and doing what the sign says. And then 9 days after was when it would arrive or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. So that brings us to the end of our question go over. I know it wasn't as good as it probably could have been because I don't remember all the questions and I didn't have them written down in front of me. So a lot of it was like, I don't remember. I think it was this. I think it was this. Whatever. This is just to spend time with me. Okay. We're hanging out right now. The final section is the listening section, and I can't really talk about it. I'm going to be honest. I got a 44 out of 60, which is fine. And I believe a lot of my points were lost because, as I mentioned in the other video, I was zoned out a lot, tired, bored. It was just the listening section is more of endurance on if you can handle being in hell for however long the section is, because it's boring, it's terrible. I don't think it's difficult listening whatsoever. From N5 to N1, it will not be hard to listen to or understand what's going on. It's just they try to put some tricks on you, and it takes forever to move between questions, and the general topics of each conversation are just boring. So it's terrible. The score, not the best in my eyes, 44 out of 60, but I'm okay with anything in the 40s or the 60s, so that's why my grammar score and my vocab score and my listening score, I'm pretty much okay with that. Now we're at my score thoughts. So I mentioned the scores for each separate section and the overall score at the beginning, but I'll go over a little bit more in depth here and talk about it. Not too much, but just a bit. So as I mentioned, my full score was a 116 out of 180. So that means on the vocab and grammar, I got a 44 out of 60. On the reading, I got a 28 out of 60. And on the listening, I also got a 44 out of 60. In terms of these scores, I'm not super happy about the reading being the lowest, but what are you going to do? The 44s for listening and vocab and grammar, that's good for me. I think a score in the 40s, 50s is basically what I would have wanted, so I'm not upset about that at all. For the vocab and grammar, as I mentioned, we take those. Grammar was actually only a B. Now, a B is when, probably put something here or somewhere on the screen, a B is when you answer less than 67% of those questions in that section correct. And someone could go through, I just went through all the questions. Maybe I said that I got more than 67%, but I did not. So no matter what, I got less than 67% of those questions right. The vocab, I did get an A on, which means you got above 67%. And in my opinion, I probably got all of the vocab right, or maybe one or two wrong, just because my brain wasn't working. For reading, as I have mentioned multiple times and you've probably heard from me, I'm not super happy, and it does suck that this is the lowest score because I read so much and I like to pride myself on reading and I put a lot of time into reading. But the way I look at it kind of is, this is either proof that the test content does not equal immersion, i.e., it's not the same to be able to understand immersion and take a test on said understanding. It's not always the same because the way they test you and the way you have to interface with the new input. Interact with the new input. Or it just means that I suck and I don't understand anything that I'm telling you guys I do understand. Now, I believe I understand what I'm saying, what I understand. So this basically means that the former is the reality. I think that there are people who can study with only immersion, only looking up things, etc., and get a perfect score on the N1. I think that there's also people who won't. And if you just do some study, you basically mitigate it, and study plus immersion equals pass with no issues. So I'm not too upset about it anymore, and I've kind of gotten over the initial shock, and I've kind of thought about it and justified it / coped to the point where it's not that big of a deal. I passed, so that's what I care about the most. Final, the listening, the 44 out of 60, just like the vocab and the grammar, we take those. I'll take a 44 out of 60. It's all right. I just want to quick talk a little bit about just how much this test means to me, or at least should mean to me. And I think people, once you get into immersion learning, the standard for good gets so high that we always forget kind of how crazy this is, to be honest. Passing N1 without much study and on my first try, even though it took 5+ years before I actually took the test, that to me is an accomplishment, and it should be an accomplishment for anyone. Anyone who says N1 is easy, like a joke easy or beginner, or really where Japanese starts, they're lying to you, and it's just to boost their own ego. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Yes, if you do get good at Japanese, N1 is not necessarily difficult. You're not going to have trouble with a lot of the words that come up or understanding it. But understanding those words and being able to read them are a little bit different than actually answering the test questions that pertain to them. And this is the same thing as when you take your native language, like English class in school. So it's not necessarily like an easy thing to just be able to just walk up and do no matter what. So I think it's okay to be happy, and it's the highest test of it's the highest level of the proficiency test. That's fucking cool. I passed that. Like, in terms of the test that I can take for like the general Japanese language ability, I'm considered the top level. And that's awesome. And back when I started learning Japanese, I never thought I could make it to N1 because I believed everything on the internet that N1 was impossible and that it was so hard. I don't agree with the other end extreme that it's too easy and you can pass it in your sleep, but it's possible. I did it. A lot of people I know have done it. You can do it. You're probably in the process of doing it. So it's just really cool when you think about it. And Past me would be so proud of me right now. So there's no reason for me to get on myself or get upset that my one score was lower than the other because, as I mentioned in the video, the score does not change my Japanese at all. Everything I did before the test, I'm going to do after the test, and it's going to go the same way. And I'm not necessarily going to suddenly not be able to understand a sentence because I passed N1 by only 16 points. So I'm okay with it. It's chill. I'm ready to just move forward and live life. Next, I want to go over some mistakes from the test, as well as some surprises that I found along the way. Number one, as I mentioned before a little bit, overthinking questions. This is the biggest mistake, and it's not necessarily a surprise. It's probably the reason I got the lowest score on reading, to be honest. As I mentioned, I tend to overthink those questions and then find two answers that I convince myself it can be correct. It can be this one. It can be this one. And then I don't know what to pick, and I pick one, and maybe I get it right sometimes, but I also probably get it wrong just as much of the time. So, as mentioned, I do the same thing in English, and it's just kind of me freaking out during tests, I guess. So, what are you going to do? Kind of up to me to fix that, but luckily I passed, so I don't have to fix it. Surprises. Nothing really besides just my overall score, because as I talked about in the video, I thought I did better. I thought the test was easier than what the score actually reflects. So it was a little bit surprised to see that it was lower than what I expected. But in terms of on the test, there weren't any surprises because I felt like I was good enough at Japanese to where there was nothing where I was like, what? Besides that one word that I mentioned that I still don't know the reading of, tell me in the comments. But most things were like relatively simple, and even the words I didn't know, it's understandable that maybe I should have known them, or I've definitely seen them somewhere to where it's not necessarily like, what? They use the craziest kanji that doesn't exist. That's crazy. I don't want it to feel like a reflection of my Japanese because it's not, but the mental load of having to feel like I didn't prove it and that I know my Japanese is definitely like better than that is something I just have to deal with. And by better than that, I just mean people look at the score and they think one thing, but the score is not someone's whole Japanese. Like, you can't wrap up someone's Japanese knowledge and skills within that score. It's impossible. There's a lot of things that go into it, especially with like studying for the test and what you immerse with and like where you learn words and everything. Everyone is very different. So whether you see someone pass or you see someone fail, don't use it as a way to like write off someone's Japanese or assume that they're better than you think or worse than you think. View it as what it is. They did enough to pass the test, or they didn't do enough to pass the test. And that's really it. I've kind of, now that I've taken it and now that I've gotten a low score, this is probably cope, but I think it's called empathy, I believe. I think people should like chill about the JLPT a little bit more and not like care so much if they pass or care so much if they fail, unless, as I mentioned, you need it for something. But I think in general, if you're just taking it as like proof of language ability, passing and failing really means absolutely nothing. And if you pass, be happy you got the certificate. If you failed, that sucks, but you can go take the test again and hopefully you pass and things go better. I've lost care in the JLPT. I never thought it was N1 equals great, but after taking it myself and knowing what I'm able to do in Japanese and how comfortable I can be in Japanese in certain areas, I completely understand how someone could fail the test but be completely competent outside of the test. I don't think people give empathy to that at all or mention that much. It's just kind of like, oh, you failed, you suck. Like someone will post on Reddit, like, I've been studying for 10 years, I still failed N1, I'm bad. Now, I believe that probably they have something they could do differently, and there's a reason why they're failing, but I don't necessarily think that automatically means the person is bad at Japanese. It's very possible, but I don't think it automatically should equal that. I think people should, think about that a little more. That was my little cope segment. Smile. A little bit about regrets. I don't think I had any. Yeah, I could have actually maybe failed because I didn't do any real study, but I'm okay with that, I think. I think being able to treat the test as strictly a knowledge measurement of the test itself, not Japanese, and nothing more is super nice. Like, oh, I took JLPT. Oh, I passed the JLPT. Yay. I like the idea of passing without any study for the test because then it does feel like more of a raw visualization of your Japanese. But like we mentioned, it's not as accurate as it could be because it's impossible to make a test that would be accurate. It's as accurate as it can be, I guess. If I had to do it again, I would probably grind some practice problems for the star questions and the reading questions, just because those are my two sections where I did the worst. And I think it'd be a good idea to get familiar with them and learn a bit more about the set phrases that they use for the stars, and then the common themes slash the way they want you to answer for the passages. So being able to see, like, for this passage in this question, this is the answer, and get an explanation about maybe why that's the answer, just so I can kind of understand more what it's looking for, because I still don't know always there's always patterns with tests, so you can study the test and get better and get scores without necessarily changing your overall knowledge. And this is with any test, not just the JLPT. And I haven't done any of that at all, so I'm sure if I did some of that, I could get my reading score up a lot. This obviously is not a necessity, but it would probably mean that I could get a higher reading score and probably get an A on the grammar section and, just have a higher overall score. I think if I took it again and studied, I could easily get my original goal, which was a 140 out of 180 or above. But I will not be doing this. I'm almost going to put this stamp on this for now. I will not take the JLPT N1 again unless there's an actual reason that I need to, because in my eyes, I've passed. I don't care about the score. Let my Japanese outside of the test speak for itself, and that's good enough for me. I don't need to get a perfect score just to impress people online, because at the end of the day, that's all the score matters to. I've never shown my score to someone ever for my N2. They've only seen my certificate, and even then, nobody really cares about the certificate either. It's just, can you speak in Japanese? Can you function? Okay, cool. Certificate, you have it. Oh, you say you have it? That's good enough. You will not be seeing me take it ever again. Passing N1 doesn't make you fluent in Japanese, but getting fluent in Japanese can definitely help you pass the N1. So, if you want to learn a little bit more about my Japanese journey in general and the JLPT, check out my longer in-depth JLPT reaction video that I put out basically right after the test results were released in Japan, as well as the other videos on my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.